The New York Yankees are right in the middle of an AL pennant chase as the reigning American League champions hope to repeat once again this season. Based on the way the division's going, it also looks like the Yankees will repeat as AL East champions, so they will most certainly be buyers at this deadline. They have an above 90% chance of winning the American League East according to Fangraphs, and a near 99% chance of making the postseason, so you better believe that Brian Cashman's going to try and make additions to make this team better. Today, we're identifying 5 players on teams that are not very likely to make the postseason, teams that I've identified by looking at Fangraphs playoff odds and looking at teams with a sub 40% chance of making the postseason. Not all of these players are guarantees to be available, but I believe that they provide skills that are highly impactful to the Yankees and what they're looking for with their roster right now. This is going to be a video full of different position types, whether it's a hitter, a reliever, or a starter, and I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. So if you like today's video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other videos we're doing. We've got tons of content coming out with the draft coming up in a month and the deadline coming up in a month as well, so you do not want to miss out. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Let's get things started talking about Chris Martin, a right-handed relief pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Chris Martin has been phenomenal for Texas out of the bullpen this season, posting a 1.83 ERA and a 1.87 FIP across 19 2/3 innings pitched, with a 29.9% strikeout rate and 3.9% walk rate. He has been phenomenal at attacking the zone, getting ahead in counts, limiting damage contact, and generating swings and misses. When you talk about a reliever who has a low walk rate and a high strikeout rate, you're immediately going to pique the interest of most teams in baseball because those are desirable traits for a reliever to have, especially in high leverage situations. You don't want to put runners on, and you do not want to allow contact because those two things oftentimes result in a bunch of annoying innings where runners get put on and an offense can get lucky or an offense can have things happen, and that can result in a blown lead late in games. Martin provides the exact kind of profile that this bullpen needs, as if you identify the two things the bullpen struggles with, number 1, walks, and number 2, fastball velocity. Martin isn't the hardest throwing pitcher on the planet, but he sits about 95 miles per hour on his fastball, and that's better than most guys in this bullpen. I'm not just targeting guys who throw hard. I don't think throwing hard is the only way to be successful, but for this bullpen, I think having someone with a big fastball like Martin's and a profile that allows him to attack the zone consistently is a nice change of pace and gives Aaron Boone another pitcher you could go to in certain situations where a walk is detrimental and a strikeout is a necessity. Martin actually has a very fastball heavy profile. He throws a 4-seamer, he throws a splitter, a sinker, and a cutter. He throws all 3 variations of a fastball, and the split finger is considered by some to be a fastball, although I think nowadays we more so consider that pitch to be an off-speed weapon. Martin has a really diverse repertoire. He can attack hitters with a variety of different movement profiles, and as a veteran with a ton of experience in this league, I trust him to go out there and pitch in any kind of situation. He was a Yankee back in 2015, and since then he has been bouncing around different organizations and pitching well for playoff teams. He's pitched on the Braves, he's pitched on the Dodgers, now he's pitching on the Rangers, a team that had playoff expectations, but they have sunk this year, so I understand why, the Rangers might look to trade him. He is a rental. He is someone who's only going to be under contract for a year, and with only $5.5 million owed to him for the 2025 season, it means the Yankees might be only on the hook for like $2.5, maybe $2.8 million when they acquire him at the deadline if they choose to do so. So Chris Martin, a very attractive piece for a contender and someone who could really help this bullpen. Before we get into our number 4 player, though, here's a quick word from our sponsor. If you're looking to place a bet on tonight's Yankee game or any sporting event, but don't know which props to take, OddsJam is exactly what you need. OddsJam is looking to turn everyday people into profitable bettors. They even the playing field by providing cutting-edge data and comparative tools that allow you to get the best possible value on your bets. OddsJam gives you real-time market data to help bettors make more informed decisions. Sign up with our code FIRESIDE to get a 35% off discount at Sign up with our code FIRESIDE to get a 35% off discount at checkout. Thank you again to OddsJam for sponsoring today's video, and go out there and try and beat Vegas with OddsJam. Coming in at number 4, and these aren't ranked based on preference, they're just the 4 players left on this list, is Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim is someone who I've been enamored with throughout the offseason and was very upset when he didn't sign with the Yankees, but ultimately, there are a lot of variables the Yankees couldn't really control there. Number one, Ha-Seong Kim wanted to be a shortstop, and number two, the injury he sustained to his shoulder made him a massive risk for any team signing him. Ha-Seong Kim is currently on a rehab assignment and has not played a game for the Tampa Bay Rays just yet, but I still believe he's someone the Yankees should keep tabs on throughout the season. He has a really well-rounded profile with a great glove at the infield, really good base running skills, and an above-average bat. I look at Ha-Seong Kim as the kind of hitter who is going to hit maybe 7th or 8th for your offense, but get on base a lot, make contact, and have productive outs. His profile is very unique in the sense that he's not a power hitter, but he hits the ball in the air a lot, and he very rarely hits into double plays, and he does that while also having a high contact rate and a very patient approach. It's a really weird and kind of unique profile, but it's one that results in a lot of sacrifice hits. He's in the top 5 for sacrifice hits from 2022 to 2024 when you combine sac flies and sack bunts and all that stuff. I think that's a very important thing to have in the bottom third of your lineup. You want to have someone who can move runners around, who can have productive outs. And if you look at more analytical stats, he is a very productive offensive player given how good he is defensively. He has a 106 WRC plus from 2022 to 2024 with a 336 on base percentage, and by being a positive base runner, it further contributes to his offensive value. Ha-Seong Kim is going to be a net positive on offense, most likely, and since he's a net positive on offense and a really good defender, this is a well-rounded player that absolutely helps the Yankees at a position like third base where they don't have a lot of answers. I know Jazz Chisholm's currently playing third, and if you wanted to keep him at third, you can move Ha-Seong Kim to second. I think that would make sense considering Ha-Seong Kim's coming off of a shoulder injury, but I think most Yankee fans would recognize there is a problem with their fourth best infielder being DJ LeMahieu right now. Ha-Seong Kim's defense at second base is also phenomenal. He has played about 1,000 innings out there and 127 games in total with 15 defensive runs saved and 8 outs above average. He is one of the best infield defenders in baseball. Him and Anthony Volpe up the middle would be gorgeous to watch. And again, you're going to get a good OBP. You're going to get some more base running. You're going to get a player who can really help you in so many different ways. Look, he's not a superstar and he's not going to have big 2-homer games, but he's going to be consistently able to provide positive value, make a positive impact on the game in one way or another. Whether it's stealing second base in a critical moment, whether it's making a big defensive play that prevents a run, or whether it's working a walk or moving a guy over or scoring a guy in a sacrifice fly, Ha-Seong Kim does it all, and I think he's the perfect supplementary player for this team. Moving on to our number 3 player, let's talk about a starting pitcher this time, and that's Merrill Kelly of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He is not a frontline starter anymore. He's not the pitcher he was back in 2023 when the Arizona Diamondbacks won the pennant, but he's still an effective starting pitcher with a very impressive postseason resume. This season, he has a 3.78 ERA and a 3.56 FIP, striking out about 23% of batters faced with a 47.4% ground ball rate. His velocities declined just a little bit, but not by enough for me to be concerned from previous years, and he's still on pace to have around a 2.5 to 3 WAR season if he makes 30 starts. That would have been the second best WAR, by the way, for any pitcher on the 2024 pitching staff, and he definitely would compare to someone like Carlos Rodon last year, or maybe even a little bit better in terms of overall ERA prevention, or ERA and FIP. So I look at Merrill Kelly and I say, if Carlos Rodon was good enough to be your number 2 starter last year, Merrill Kelly is more than good enough to be your number 3 starter this year, or even your number 4, depending on how Clark Schmidt, Luis Seal, or even a Will Warren perform down the stretch. The way I look at Merrill Kelly is that he is a very, very effective middle-of-the-rotation starter with a very strong postseason resume. He made 4 starts in the World Series run the Diamondbacks made. He had a 2.25 ERA, and he played some really, really good opponents. They played the Dodgers, they played the Rangers, they played the Phillies, and he was excellent in his starts against those teams. And again, even if someone like Luis Seal outperforms him or Clark Schmidt outperforms him, Merrill Kelly is still going to need to be used because you need a 4th starter. And relying on all of your starters currently to remain healthy and as effective as they are throughout the season is just not a gamble to take. Maybe Merrill Kelly stumbles and then at the deadline we feel differently about him, but I think there are some things the Yankees could do to make his profile even better. He has a really good slider that I don't think he uses enough. His 4-seamer isn't thrown up in the zone enough considering that's where it plays best. And ultimately, even if he doesn't make any adjustments, we're talking about a guy with a 3.7 ERA and a 3.5 FIP. That is valuable to any rotation. Every team in baseball would gladly take him on their roster, and I would be stunned, I mean stunned, if Merrill Kelly is not an effective postseason pitcher. He has a deep repertoire. 3 different fastballs, 3 different off-speed pitches. He knows how to pitch. He has great command. And again, I mean, from a traditional analytical standpoint, he is a fit for any team as a Game 3 starter in a postseason setting. Moving on to number 2, this is kind of the experimental reliever pick. We have Reid Detmers of the Los Angeles Angels here, and look, his 6.04 ERA is going to make you sit back and go, this guy stinks, the Yankees should want nothing to do with him, but kind of like Mark Leiter Jr. a year ago and Lou Trevino a couple of years ago, a high ERA guy with good underlying metrics is something the Yankees have consistently targeted at the trade deadline. They like going out and getting relievers who they believe will be better from that point forward than they have been throughout the season. They don't like buying high on relievers. They do not want to go out and bring in a reliever whose value is likely going to decline in the second half compared to the first half, and they trust their pitching development to get the most out of a pitcher. Even when you look at Reid Detmers' underlying metrics, they tell you he should be better than he's actually been. He has a 25.4% strikeout rate, his FIP on the season is sub 4, and his xERA on the season is sub 4. His FIP right now is 3.23, the skill interactive ERA is 3.48, and if those are the numbers that I'm going to get from Reid Detmers as a left-handed pitcher with a fastball touches 95, 96, 97, I'm gonna want that in my bullpen immediately. He has years of control. He's a former starter. He has a really good slider. There are a lot of things to like about Reid Detmers and a lot of things to believe that, hey, he could go out and be a more valuable pitcher this year than he's been with the Angels. Also, you look at the team you're trading from, the Angels are not a particularly well-ran team. You don't really look at them and go, that's the team that develops pitching really well. If you look at a guy like Griffin Canning went from an absolute bum in 2024 to one of the Mets' better starters in 2025. The Yankees are really good at pitching development. I trust them with these kinds of things, and I love the stuff that Detmers has. He has a 109 stuff plus. His stuff is wicked. Again, he has a mid-90s fastball from the left-handed side, a really, really good slider that can touch 90 miles an hour, a good curveball. The changeup can use some work. He's shown a sinker every now and then. I'm not really sure if that's a pitch he's going to keep using in his repertoire, but I love what he brings to the table. I think his stuff is dynamic. He has also got the weird quirk of being the only Angel outside of Nolan Ryan to throw a no-hitter and record a save in their career. He was about a league average starter with the Angels, and you know, I think that being a league average starter and transitioning to a bullpen role is usually pretty successful. And if the Yankees need a starter next year, they can transition Detmers back into a starting role. This guy has 3 more years of control. There's a lot you could do with Reid Detmers. This is a really fun kind of lottery ticket. I don't think he prevents you from getting somebody else. You could probably get Detmers and get Chris Martin at the same time, or a lesser reliever than Chris Martin, who maybe, just like Martin, is a rental and can provide some immediate value for you at the deadline. I really love Reid Detmers. I think more Yankee fans should be in on him. I think more people should be talking about him. He could be someone who has a really, really good second half, and I think a very smart team is going to acquire him and make him a lot better. Rounding out this top 5, let's talk about Mitch Keller of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a right-handed starting pitcher. Now, unlike Merrill Kelly or Chris Martin, Mitch Keller has multiple years of control following the 2025 season. He's under contract for 2026, 2027, and 2028 after signing an extension. He's roughly owed about $16 million a year throughout the duration of his contract. So it's about a $16 million luxury tax hit when you recalculate it, because you have to recalculate the contract and the luxury tax hit for the remaining years of the deal and the remaining money once you get traded. Now, Mitch Keller is not a world beater. He's not Garrett Cole. He's not Max Fried. He's not Carlos Rodon, but he has shown flashes of being a really good starter, and this year he has a 3.73 ERA and a 3.20 FIP across 12 starts. He's gotten better as the season has gone on, and it's because he's throwing his sinker a lot more. Through his first 7 starts, he used his sinker just 10.4% of the time, and he had a 4.31 ERA with a 40.2% ground ball rate. But over his last 5 starts, he's using his sinker 22.8% of the time, and he has a 2.90 ERA, a 2.43 FIP, and a 48.3% ground ball rate. Mitch Keller is someone who I think fits the Yankee mold very well. He has multiple fastballs, he has a really good sweeper, he has a gyro slider he throws as well, a curveball, and he has a changeup that could use some work. The Yankees are very good with altering changeup grips and finding ways to orient seams better, to get better movement and get more desired movement. And when I look at Mitch Keller, I look at a pitcher who can be a number 3 starter for you in the postseason and potentially even be a number 2 starter if he continues to throw that sinker more. The Yankees, again, are very good at pitching development. I think the Yankees do a very good job with getting the most out of pitchers. I think Mitch Keller is someone they can get more out of. And while the years of control might be unattractive to some, looking at the roster construction, I think it's very attractive for the Yankees because that might allow them to trade a pitcher for a bat at the deadline. Remember, this year's deadline and kind of the deadlines we've seen since the Wild Card 3 has been added are full of teams that are both contending and not contending at the same time. Teams that will buy and also sell, teams that will maybe sell off some pieces but not sell off major pieces. If you look at a team like the Cubs last year, they both bought, they brought in Isaac Paredes, and sold. They traded Mark Leiter Jr. to the Yankees. A lot of very interesting and weird things happen at the deadline because of that third wild card. It keeps teams in the mix that maybe wouldn't have been in the mix otherwise, and so you might have to provide major league talent to get major league talent. In the case of Mitch Keller here, the Pirates are bottom dwellers. They're awful. They're absolutely atrocious. They're not going to be looking to try and flip Mitch Keller for a player that can help them with like 2 or 3 years of control. They're going to be looking for prospects, and they're a cheap team. They might be more inclined to move a contract if they can than other teams might be. And for the Yankees, who have a lot of money, maybe not a lot of money to spend this year, but a lot of money opening up over the next 3 years, this contract shouldn't be a poison pill. It shouldn't kill them. And again, Keller might be someone they could flip again. I mean, they could do a lot of things with this contract and with this player, and it gives them some stability, oh my goodness, in this rotation moving forward. I think Mitch Keller makes a ton of sense for the Yankees. He has a really good sinker, a good enough four-seam fastball, a good sweeper, curveball I like. He could maybe mix in the cutter more. Maybe he's changing the changeup a little bit. He's a ground ball guy. I think playing for the Yankees instead of playing for the Pirates will help him convert some of those ground balls into outs more frequently. Mitch Keller plays for a miserably bad Pirates team, and maybe playing for a contender might help him more. Maybe getting better eyes on him might help him more. I know the Pirates are actually not bad at player development, at least on the pitching side. You look at Paul Skeens, Bubba Chandler, Jared Jones. Mitch Keller is actually a success story if you think about it, because he was a second-round pick who was converted, over 10 wins above replacement. Andrew Heaney's pitched well for them. Bailey Falter's pitched well for them. I'm not going to sit here and disparage the Pirates from a pitching development standpoint, but I do think the Yankees are better at it than the Pirates. I think the Yankees have access to more information than the Pirates do. And I also think the Yankees have a better infield defense than the Pirates do, which are all things that will play a role into whether I think the Yankees could get more value out of this player or not. For context, the Pittsburgh Pirates defensively are not bad per se, but they're not really great either, especially in the infield. They're much better in the outfield. They have good corner defense because of Brian Hayes, but Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been shaky at shortstop. Their second base situation's a rotating door. Their first base situation's a rotating door. They do actually catch very well, which is nice, but their framing isn't great, so I think the Yankees can help from that standpoint as well. I just think the Yankees are a good fit for Mitch Keller. I think that if he's going to land anywhere and make improvements, that is where he could make improvements, and I think the Yankees have just enough roster talent to make him better. So that rounds out our list. Let us know what you guys think about this top 5. Are there players that you would want to see on this list? I know there's some players I didn't mention, like Freddie Peralta, who will get his own video, and players maybe like a Drew Rasmussen, who will also get his own video. We're going to talk about some of the bigger names as we get closer to the deadline, because some of those teams may not be as inclined to trade those players as long as they're in the playoff mix, whereas some of the players in this list aren't necessarily core pieces for that team moving forward. The Pirates aren't building around Mitch Keller. The Angels aren't building around Reid Detmers. The Rays are certainly not building around Ha-Seong Kim, although you could argue he's important because he's a shortstop. Chris Martin isn't a building block for a franchise either. The one player who you could argue that for, that is a core part of a team's contention odds, is Merrill Kelly, but considering that he's only a rental, I also think that the Diamondbacks would be more willing to move him. So again, we'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. We really appreciate your guys' continued support, and that'll do it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and let's go Yankees. Peace out, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.